Okay, listen. So, the body is at the most basic level just atoms, you know, electricity, you know, just material, correct? So the idea of consciousness is so bizarre, right? And like your brain, like even now being able to speak,
How does that happen?
how if I just think I want to raise my arm, look,
It just happened.
that was like magic. How?
Yeah.
And just because some electrical pulses, I can't believe that.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. For example, there's this feeling when consciousness can feel like you are outside your body. Like, for example, being alive. This is where societies have created something like a soul, or you are a spirit, because of
Okay.
this feeling that you exist. You have these senses going on. You can talk. You can form ideas. You can sometimes just ideas pop in your head. Okay, did somebody send these ideas to me, or is there some third party
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
sending signals that, for example, if you believe in God, people believe that everything they do, everything they feel,
It's
they think
predetermined.
is God is doing that, the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit. So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you
You have
cannot
free will,
actually,
too.
you cannot differentiate. What is the Holy Spirit in your head?
That's the problem. To be inside your own mind, how can you differentiate?
What is the Holy Spirit? What is God? Because it's the same container.
Yeah.
It's your head.
Yeah.
When exactly is it you who is just thinking?
When that's the problem. When you don't have an external anchor, an external truth, and that's the another problem. You can't prove anything. You know, you can prove some things like 2 + 2 = 4 on some fundamental level, but that's still within itself. You know. I don't know how I can explain this, but you can't go outside of yourself, is what I'm trying to say. So if you're trying to define something within yourself, like in your brain, you're trying to separate your own thoughts from maybe outside influences, your parents, your society, this. How do you really know that that's you and not you being influenced by some, or maybe you've been influenced so long that it is you.
It's natural, yes.
Yeah, or you think it, I don't see, it's just, but there's no way.
Yeah, you don't really think twice when you're eating, or when you're walking, when you wake up, even if you're blinking, you don't think twice about, oh, there's some great ingenuity going on in the, no, because it's normal, you've been conditioned like that to do that. But to your question, how do you know, and this is where the term awareness comes in.
Yeah.
It's so liberating. For example, right now we're having a conversation. Can you imagine you are somewhere there, another you, just watching us having this conversation?
And see, this not possible. To have a God's eye view, you know, to just be outside of yourself, and if we could.
It is possible.
It's not.
What do you think inspires you more in life?
In general, the needs of others. Simple.
You like
Always.
something?
Do I?
You like
I like to serve. Like I told you, my only aspiration in life was to give. So, yeah, that's a big motivator for me. Is if there's somebody that needs something, then if I'm blessed enough to be able to, then I should give. You know, my parents instilled generosity as one of the biggest things in their children. You know, always. It used to be very irritating when I was younger, having people at my house all the time. Some random person coming, sleeping at my house all the time, eating my food, sleeping. I would come from school, and there would be somebody, I would come to my room, and somebody would be sleeping in my bed. My mom says, tonight you're going to sleep downstairs, or you're going to sleep on the floor. You're going to sleep with this lady in your bed. I say, okay. But now I understand, you know, hospitality, generosity is what makes the world go round, you know. So.
Your parents, who are you more close to? Father or mother?
Neither of them, actually. Yeah, it's kind of sad. My father and I are very similar. I will say that we're very similar. The way we are with people, we're very personable. We like always find ourselves in leadership roles. People always come up to us very, I don't know. And my mom is the same way, but just not to the same extent. She's a little quieter around people, but I'm a lot like my dad, everything. I have big hands like my dad. My teeth, so my mom has perfect teeth. She looks like she had braces. And out of 7 kids, I'm the only one who had teeth like my dad. Only one. Sometimes I'm a little sad because my siblings all have brilliant teeth, but mine are not bad. They're just not perfect, like my mom's. But yeah, my dad and I, so similar, but we're not too close. Like when I was younger, I was very quiet. You know, I tried to make my parents' lives easier. So my way of doing that was to obey and not to add to their stresses by talking or
trigger them.
Yeah, no triggering them.
Argue
No,
with them.
exactly, because I would see my siblings do that, and I would
Get in
see,
trouble.
yeah, my one, I didn't want to get in trouble, and two, I didn't want to make my parents upset or sad or add to anything that they had, you know. So I was really quiet for a long time, and there were different influences as to why I was so quiet, but
Very
yeah,
obedient kid.
yeah. If
Nice
they told me to do
child,
something
child.
once, it was
Yeah,
done.
it's done.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Nothing. Very obedient, very submissive.
It's funny that I understand what you're saying, like 100%.
Yeah.
Because the same way that my parents, actually for some reason I always loved to work with my parents. My mother always showed me how to cook, things to do in the house, because I was the firstborn, and it was never a problem for me to. But at the same time, I could also do the numbers. If I do this, I get punished. So I won't do that.
See, that's what I tried to tell my siblings. I didn't understand why they still did bad things. Because you know, if you do something bad, you'll be in trouble. That's it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's funny the way you said it. Yeah. So, what do you think, for example, this thing being close to your parents?
Your parents, when kids say their parents don't love them, but they eat every day. They sleep in their own beds. They're healthy. They go to the doctor regularly. Your
Their
parents.
school fees is paid.
See, look,
They have clothes. They
exactly.
shop.
Yes, you're enjoying your life all because your parents care enough about you. They love you enough to take care of you. And so even if you don't have this pop culture relationship, emotional affectionate relationship with your parents does not directly mean, oh, they don't love you. They just support you because why? You know, you need to think why they support you. Why do they do these things for you if they don't love you?
Yeah.
Because if they didn't love you, they could just as easily, you're over 18, you know, they can just throw you out. They can say, don't come back. But they love you enough to say, okay, I have to take care of you. They call you, they ask you, do you need this? Do you need this? How can I do this for you? And sometimes they don't even ask, they just do things for you. So, I don't know, I see that as probably the biggest form of love. Even though it's seen as the smallest, in reality, it's the biggest form of love, is to take care of somebody.
Your name means perfect.
It does mean perfect.
And I wonder, at what age did you know the meaning of your name?
When I was quite young, actually, like maybe elementary school.
So in your language, when they say Mahasin, it literally sounds perfect. Like,
Yeah. Literally means without sin.
is it possible that
That influenced me to be the way that I am
Yes.
now? I think so, but also even if I didn't know, my parents would still be the same strict parents. They still would have had expected
But
me
there's
to
a reason
be the way.
you're almost the child who was the perfect one.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I think, how did my parents think to name this child Mahasin, you know? Not the
No
one before
others.
me or not the one after me, you know?
You know, the psychology behind naming names. They say that names have a predetermination effect on people. Are there behaviors you've learned, or things you've learned to do that you were not allowed to do when you were a child?
Like things that I've learned now.
Like you really have to kind of
Change my conditioning. Not being so strict with my own self-discipline. You know, I don't have to be so extreme with disciplining myself. If I do something wrong, or if I'm late for something, or if I mess something up, I don't have to punish myself so severely, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm already punished by missing whatever I missed or whatever the case was. I've learned to be more social. Like I told you before, I didn't used to speak. But like you said, you have to learn to speak up at a certain point, you know. With maturing, I just realized that there's no way you can live life inside yourself. This, as people, as humans, we are social creatures, so in order to function, in order to live life, you have to interact with others, you know. That's just facts. You have to do that. But no, I feel like a lot of the things that I was conditioned to do as a child, all those things that I learned, I've kept the majority of them, honestly, because they made me who I am now. Other than just like learning about society and how people work and developing my own opinions, that would probably be the greatest thing. Like you said, you think I'm a feminist. But that just comes with learning. And I told you my response was, I think everybody should be a feminist because of the way that I think and the way that I see the world. I can't imagine why you'd be opposed to equality, you know? So just growing and maturing and...
Respect for child. The child you were. What are the things
so what would I wish my parents would have known about me?
Yes.
Let me be very vague with this. Okay. I would say just asking your child how they're doing in a very genuine way, and I would say even force me to speak, because after a certain point, even if somebody asked me, I would just automatically give them a response that was not the truth. So just even if you sense that I'm not being honest, or I was too quick to answer, just keep asking me until I tell you exactly what's going on. Or if I'm acting strange,
something is happening.
Yeah, then please investigate. Don't just say, oh, you know, Mahasin is she's not like the other children, so maybe this is just something that she does that I don't know. So probably, yeah, just to... Oh, and also don't create such an environment where your child feels as if they can't even speak to you, or they can't tell you if something happened to them, or they feel like even something small it would be such a burden on you that they sacrifice themselves, you know. So because as a parent, I feel like they wouldn't even want that. They wouldn't want their own child to sacrifice themselves for their sake. It's supposed to be the other way around. So, and I understand you can appreciate your child wanting to do that for you, but still you need to let them know you don't have to do that. And I would rather you just tell me and have it hurt me than to keep it inside of you and hurt you instead. So
how about on rewarding the hardworking child?
I feel like even acknowledgement would have been a reward enough. That would have been enough, because I understand that they had a lot on their plate. So to give me maybe like toys or something is unnecessary. I really didn't need that. Just acknowledgement to say, oh, thank you for doing this, or I saw you taking care of your little brother, your little sister. I saw you pack your little sister's lunch every day. So I just want to say thank you. Anything like that, or just realizing if they would have said to me, oh, I know you are one of the youngest children, but I see you working harder than the oldest children, you know. So if they would just say, if they even told me, I see you. Because sometimes I feel like they just thought maybe the house was clean before, because a fairy came and cleaned the house and cooked the food and changed the baby's diaper, you know. Or like a ghost did all of that. If they just say, I know this was you, and they would say thank you, that would be it. So
Me too.
Yeah, once again, me too. I will say this though, those standards that my parents, they imposed on me, or whatever, all of those things that they expected me to do have really helped to create a wonderful person. And you know, if I can say that about myself, but I really do believe that's the work of my parents, you know. All of the things that I do. I can cook because my mom, even if she may have forced me to cook, sometimes she really did have to force me. But now look, I can cook for my children, my husband. Like that's a skill that people should have, you know, being able to clean efficiently. I went to work when I was maybe in high school, and I saw a boy, he was sweeping, he didn't even know how to use a broom. I had to stop.
But who are you? What planet are you from?
Yes. And I realized not everybody's living the same life as me, you know. I took all these things for granted that my parents had taught me. I didn't realize that not everybody was blessed enough to even be taught these things, you know. So they really are blessings, and I do thank my parents for it. Even if they did neglect a few things, overall they were fantastic. They were fantastic parents.
Really great. It's a great way of training a child to, I think, to be in the real world. What pet peeves do you have when it comes to, I think, dealing with people and work?
Like you said, when they consider work as a burden, even though they act as if they didn't voluntarily apply, or they didn't clock in that day. You know, they act as if somebody dragged them there, and they don't have free will. Because sometimes they complain so much. I say, just leave. If it's that much of a burden for you, you can leave. You can say, I'm clocking out, and because what if they cannot arrest you? They can't do anything to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one of my biggest pet peeves, was they didn't understand. They would speak as if somebody was holding them hostage, when really they signed up for this, you know. And at the end of the day, they get a paycheck. They get paid. So what is there to complain about? Because there are so many people who aren't even blessed enough to have a job, first of all. So they need to humble themselves and realize this is, in a way, a blessing for you to even be able to complain about going to work, you know.
Well, guys, today I had an opportunity to have Mahasine Tutu in my studios today, and we talked about a lot of
so many things. Wow.
Awareness and childhood and work ethics and culture and consciousness,
community. Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching, and Mahasine, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was really fun. This was a lot of fun, honestly. I need to come back.
Oh, trust me, I'll hold you on that.